AI.
We need to regulate this because it's going to get out of hand.
I see the glint in your eye when you're saying that. I feel like you know things that I don't. So
I just want some sugar. All right, it's not. That sounded weird.
He has connections in the industry that helps him achieve more things than you. I'm just trying to put it in perspective.
You. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm feeling a little bit depressed right now because I switched over to black coffee, and I'm a little depressed. Like I'm doing it for health reasons.
I love black coffee.
How dare you? Like it's kind of, man. You just got to put something in there, you know?
As opposed to what?
I typically put a little bit of cream and sugar in there, you know, but I'm trying to cut back on my sugar intake. It's just a bummer, and I have a headache, and I'm really sad, and I just really want to go get
sugar. You have a headache?
Huh?
Yeah, you got a problem, man.
No.
No, that's good. You're backing off.
Wait, you think I have a headache because I've been cutting sugar? Oh, wait.
This is bad.
That's not
I
good.
wonder how many tablespoons of sugar you've been consuming.
How many jugs of sugar I've been consuming every day? Like
maybe a lot.
Seriously, man. No, I got the little caramel syrups or whatever. I'll put those in there and stuff at back of the house. Yeah.
Okay, I love this topic.
Okay.
I do, because the black coffee thing, I don't know, like, did you have the whole air of like, if you're drinking coffee, anything other than black, you're not a real man?
I mean, I've
right?
Amen.
Like, this is where I grew up. Like, I still feel a little shame in the fact that I just put only creamer in my coffee.
You totally put creamer in your coffee.
Yeah,
I
don't put sugar in it, though.
Don't even with me right now.
But I still feel less than because I don't drink it black. And that somewhere along the way, there's this thing.
I mean, I get a little bit of that guilt. Dad,
he's on the train.
It's not about a manhood thing, though. It's a preference.
It's a preference.
Right. But to me, I like my coffee bitter and black, especially when you pair it with something sweet, kind of like a pastry thing.
A pastry.
I could buy, yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's fair.
If I'm having donuts and black coffee, that's
Can you taste the flavor profiles and stuff in the black coffee? It just tastes like, it's just bitter, man. It just tastes like
black coffee. I just want
some sugar. All right, that sounded weird. Just give me coffee, normal coffee. That's all I want. I'm really in a stressful situation right now.
You are a little depressed.
Anyway, Hamzah, let's change the subject. How are things in your world?
Good. Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me. This is such a cool setup that you have here.
I love how cordial you. Oh, thanks for having me.
This is great.
Inviting me
awesome.
to the live show where you beat on each other and I get to sit front row
and I
uncomfortably.
Because we did this online. And
Yes, we did.
It's not the same. I just got to say, like, just off the cuff right here.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. It's a different vibe.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're a lot more interesting personally, like in person, than virtually. That's for sure. We can hide things virtually.
Yeah, and edited them out, and
we're
gonna do a lot of editing.
We'll still edit. Yeah, and for the record, this is what, third try at intro. Just being real. I mean. That's threw the nicks on at least one, maybe two. I'm not even sure how many.
Those were your problems, though. Those were your problems. But how is this your third time? I know this is at least
second time.
This is your second time.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I don't know. We've just known each other for a long time, man. I don't know. I'm sorry.
We talk a lot outside of the podcast.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We text.
You text.
We text.
Yeah, we are.
Bros like that.
We're on that level. we're on that level. You should be jealous, Eddie. Anyway, so
that's called being friends. That's good.
I was homeschooled. I don't know what that means. What are you talking about?
It's called connections, right? He has connections in the industry that helps him achieve more things than you. I'm just trying to put it in perspective.
Yes,
there's context.
Solid.
Achieve more than you. I like that. Hey, Cook, let's clip that out. I want to save that for a rainy day, okay? All right, thanks, man.
That's good stuff.
That's really good stuff. So, all right. So for those that didn't hear the previous episodes that we did with you, where do you work? What do you do? Walk us through all that.
Absolutely. So Hamzah Shanbari, Director of Innovation at Haskell. Haskell's design-build company based out of Jacksonville, Florida. I'm like a 5-hour drive from here. A nice drive, actually, through the country and all the nice farms that I had to
see a bunch of
experience
cows
this morning.
all
Yeah.
little different, all sorts of stuff.
It was interesting. I mean, you can see the change of terrain, like going up, like
big time.
through Florida. You can, it's
Yeah.
a completely different world. But yeah, I run our innovation program. Dysruptek is the name of the group. It's also an LLC, kind of separate from Haskell, but it's still wholly owned and operated by Haskell. And we have our 3 prongs, which is invest, invent, and innovate.
Okay.
So we make investments in the space, in the construction tech startup space, for companies that make sense for us. We also invest time and efforts in evaluating these companies and testing them and piloting them internally. We put on the invent hat on, the developer hat on sometimes when we can't find a solution that we're looking for. And then the last part is innovate, which is kind of creating a culture of innovation within Haskell, asking people to contribute ideas and just think outside the box, right? Not just because this is what you were told to do. That's just how you're going to do it day in and day out, right? So there's so many different ways that you can improve.
So you see just a ton of technology come across your desk, like a ton of different ideas and proposals and all sorts of stuff that you have to dig into pretty hard and like vet them out and figure out where they're at.
Yes.
So that's fun for us. We get to pick at you today.
Yes, please.
And see what is new on the horizon, what you're seeing. So tell us, man, what's interesting to you right now? What has popped up since we last talked? Dive into it.
Several things, but there's tons of ideas, and talking just kind of piggybacking on that. We since the beginning, we started in 2018. We evaluated 780 some construction tech companies. This is from the external ecosystem. These are, it's a lot of companies out there. And each one is trying to solve a specific problem statement. So they're point solutions.
Yeah.
So there's a lot happening, but we also have at least 200, 250 ideas submitted internally. These are ideas that are not, specifically matched with a solution out there. But of course, we can't, say, yes, you get all funding, or let's build it all. It's
Right.
we have what we call our big pitch event. Every year we host that, which is kind of like a Shark Tank style.
Yeah.
Give me your best ideas. We open it up in June. We do the event in October. Select the top 5, and we help them kind of polish up their business plan, come up to the stage, and present it in front of executives. They usually pick 2 ideas. We go to work after that.
So these are people that work within your organization that are coming up with the ideas that are presenting them there.
Yes, Haskell is a 2,500 employee company, so we have a lot of people that have a lot of great ideas.
Yeah.
Some have crazy ideas.
I could get on board with some crazy ideas. You've heard a couple of mine. I know you know that.
The crazy ideas are fun though, because sometimes those cause you to look at something a little differently than you once did. And so maybe you don't get all the way down the road, but you get 3/4 of the way down the road and you find something really cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know y'all did the Shark Tank thing. I wanted to know if, can you get in on that? If you're just off of the streets, got to be a Haskell guy.
It has to be a Haskell employee, yes, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I don't think we have time or enough resources to open it up to externally, because that's just going to be a whole other scale.
Gosh, well, I'm thinking, so y'all started in 2018. We started in 2019 with the cast.
Yeah,
we got a couple hundred episodes now, but that means we've been about, one a week or whatever since then. Geez, you tripled that more. So you're evaluating 2-3 ideas a week since 2018?
At least.
Different companies and
different
concepts.
Companies and different, yes. But from the internal side, we kind of try to restrict it, right? So we open it in June, we close it in end of July, maybe early August. So that's the number of ideas that we look at, and we vet all of them. We sit down with every person that submitted an idea, whether it's a fantastic idea, whether it's an insane idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about the crazy ideas.
Let's not give them their time. How do you vet these things? Do you have a system or a process that you go through for each one? Can you walk us through that without
absolutely. So we have I'm big on Miro. Digital kind of mapping. And we sit down and we have our framework of what's the problem statement?
Yeah.
What we're currently doing? right? And how is that going to affect it?
Yeah.
And then the context, what's in the market? And if you didn't do your research, then I'm inclined to not do it for you, kind of thing. So we try to help our internal employees as much as possible in like figuring out because they have full-time jobs, right? They're not going to look at the market.
Yeah.
So we help them with that piece a little bit, but I expect them to come in with at least a little bit of understanding of, I Googled this idea that I wanted to submit, and here are the results that I found. So there is a systematic approach of how do we look at every specific aspect of the idea. And a lot of times what we get is literally just like one paragraph.
Yeah.
Not even like 3 sentences.
Yeah.
Saying that, I think there needs to be something. And we took ideas from a paragraph and literally a napkin sketch to a patent and a product that we are bringing to market.
Yeah. Yeah. So each one of these ideas, you marry that with a software or some sort of solution, whether that's product, software, I'm sure.
If there is a software out there that solves for that idea, we tell the person, thank you for your idea.
Yeah.
Here's the solution. Let's pair you.
Yeah.
And start a pilot.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? That's outside of big pitch. We're not going to big pitch is more of like novel ideas that don't exist out there that we can patent, that we can develop, that we can bring to market eventually.
Yeah. So when you're looking at these software companies, are you just going, all right, we're going to test it out, like we're going to get our hands dirty, pilot program straight in there, or do you take the time, like, all right, we're going to do a demo, we're going to ask these certain questions, like how do you wade into that? Because there are, like you said,
there's a lot,
there's so much, and you don't want to just give everybody everything. You kind of have to have some layer of protection there.
So when we first started, we did that, right? It's like, yes, this is great.
Point.
Go. And I go into project managers, go into superintendent. I'm like, I need you to do this. This is great. This is the best thing since sliced bread. And they're like, who are you? Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Yeah. Do you work for them or you get like commission? I'm like, no, I just want you to try it. And anyway, that, of course, you can tell that didn't work out so well. So like that was like very early on, 6 months within our operations, we said, all right, let's time out. Maybe that's not the way to do it, right? We talk to others, we talk to our peers in the industry and we try kind of share thoughts and notes.
Yeah.
And what we do right now is we do sit on a demo, but this is only from the Dysruptek side, right? We don't bring in end users. We sit at the Dysruptek side. We understand the solution, the problem statement. Integrations is very important to us, right? Yeah. Does it talk to our system of record? Does it talk to other solutions that we're using?
Yeah.
And then, use cases, customer support, implementation, all that stuff.
Yeah.
All of that, I do it. I put it in our database. So we have our own CRM. You see how the salespeople are always tracking us prospects with the CRM. Well, I'm tracking you with the CRM.
Flipping it around on them.
Okay.
And what that does is now I have a list of all these solutions with their relevant problem statement and technology type. And I'm waiting for somebody internally that says, hey, I have this problem statement.
Yeah.
And usually I say, thank you for coming. Here's 7 options for you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about them, right? If you want to pick 3 and we sit on demo calls, and then if they're interested, we go into implementation plan mode, figure out, what success criteria looks like. And we as Dysruptek would fund that pilot. And that's because we're trying to remove all barriers of entry, right? And one of the first barriers of entry is always like, I don't have time, I don't have budget for it. So we take the budget part off, and the time we help you with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't give you time. I can give you money. I can't give you time.
Yeah.
So that's how we kind of go about it. We when we find a solution that is really interesting, and I think that I really want to push it, is we start highlighting it in our kind of monthly newsletter. We do showcases where we bring the technology company within Haskell and have them give like a lunch and learn. So we get some more traction than the organic, like, wait, let me see what problem statements are coming from the field.
Really, I mean, great model and kind of framework for innovation adoption within your company. So appreciate you sharing that. I think that's very useful and valuable. Because if you get 2,500 people in Haskell doing that, you're a lot of brains. Ideally, we spread that out and we start to capitalize that across the industry. But I will say I've always known Haskell to be a company that is very innovative and very willing to push forward in things. And so I can appreciate the fact that they've allotted this task. Like you've got a special ops group that's like just on this.
Yeah.
So, but I want to hear some specifics, like maybe an industry segment that is drawing a lot of attention right now, and maybe a tool that is really fun.
Yeah. So one of our first pilots was, I love the organic growth. I love the organic kind of like people are talking to each other about the solution. And that's what happened with us with like Pipe. Pipe Closeout, it was acquired by Autodesk since then, but we tried them before when they were still a startup. And we had tried to push it on some of our APMs, assistant project managers, but it was like, wait a minute, what is this doing? You know, the same approach, right? It's like, who are you? What are we trying to do? Until like, one or two APMs came to us and said, hey, we have a project that we're getting ready to close on. I heard this is a thing. Can you help us? And absolutely. So we funded that pilot program. Within a year, that escalated to 10 projects because the APMs are talking to each other. You're like, hey, yes, I use this on my project. It saved us tons of times and effort trying to gather all the information that I need, like warranty, O&M manuals, what have you, the stuff that you need from all these different subcontractors and suppliers. Yeah. This is kind of like automated a lot of that. So before we knew it, we're like up to 25 projects, 30 users. And then we're like, all right, so I can't keep funding this forever, guys. So what we do is we at the end of the pilot, we do a report. So we sit down and we write everything that we did in the pilot. Customer feedback, client feedback, end user feedback, quantitative, qualitative measures, put it in a report, send it to operations, say, hey, this is something that we're seeing traction. Here's how much it's going to cost. Here's how to scale it. Of course, we have to talk about cybersecurity. How is this going to tie into our existing infrastructure and how secure it is? And then let it run from there. So it became like a very organic, very fast-growing, internally kind of like adopted idea that went from to project pilot to enterprise scale within 3 years.
What is it? You go into the specific product though. What does it do? You talk about like warranty docs and
right.
things
So
like
the product is you upload the specifications of your project, and it automatically finds out anything that is required for, like, for example, like Division 3 concrete. You need all the testing that you did for your concrete for your slump test. So you need all warranties from the subcontractor that did that and stuff like that. Yeah. And it puts it in a list. And all you do as the end user, you tell it which one of those should go to which subcontractor, who's responsible for that scope. And it would just ping them. Emails, automatic emails that you can set up. Of course, you can customize. But you can set it up to like a weekly email reminder because you didn't submit it yet, or daily. You want to hit them up every 6 a.m. just to get them going. And once they submit it, that's it. They stop receiving those emails. So it's just kind of like an automation of this task of trying to keep track of over 300 documents that you're supposed to collect from 50 different people. You're just setting up the list, setting up who it should go to, and then you're automatically gathering all that information, reviewing it, and if there's anything that's wrong with it, you can say, no, this is rejected, and it goes back to them. It's like resubmit. It's kind of like a submittal system, but for closeout documents. And then you compile that with a couple of clicks into a turnover package and send it as a PDF to the owner.
Project specification packages, 1,500 pages, 2,000?
They're long.
Yeah. So, I mean, just the crawling of that document to let you know what is required. Like, what was I by contract bound to turn over? That's huge.
Yeah, and you look at how they were doing it, and it's all like Excel sheets. So they built all these elaborate Excel.
Yeah, well.
And
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. AI.
Let's do it.
Has that been something that has been popping up more and more
100%
for you?
100%. I mean, so just to tag on that is like that's using natural language processing to read the document, right, and understand relevance. So that's could be considered AI, but Pipe is not like putting the AI.
I was about to say, that'd be like...
They should.
Definitely. I'm like, that's a prime example of it for sure.
Right. It's not an AI in in an intelligent form, it's really just finding things in kind of like if-then statements, which is an automation more than AI. So when you're talking about AI, it's like more like a chat GPT, which is like generative AI. You know, you're asking it a question in a natural tone, and it's finding the information and coming back to you with that.
Ooh. I got one. Okay, AI. We're going to stay on the AI train for just a second here. All right. So did you see, it was, I'm going to wreck the name. It's the AI video. Sora. Yeah. Did you see?
Yes,
have you seen this? So it is AI that is generating videos. So I can put in a prompt, let's say, and it's still in beta right now. So in theory, I can put in a prompt that says, I want a city skyline, like helicopter view of New York or something like that. And it will generate like, was a 30-second clip.
Yeah.
So it essentially would replace stock imagery or stock video.
Yes.
You wouldn't have to pay for it. You could just type it in and it will spit out a 30-second video.
Super realistic.
Very. Yeah. And there were some kinks, obviously, but
if you look closely, you can tell right now. But imagine what it's going to be in 6 months.
Exactly.
What it's going to be in a year.
That's what MKBHD was saying. He was showing that it was the AI generated Will Smith eating the spaghetti or whatever.
Yeah, that's the earlier
and
version.
it was just bad. It was just really bad, and it looked really awkward. To now, and that was a year worth of development time. And so we're going from Will Smith eating spaghetti and it looking really, really awkward to now it's like...
Now like puppies playing in the snow that you can actually see the snow in their fur and super detailed.
Yeah, very detailed. Like it looked like a Pixar movie or something. It was crazy.
So Dolly, kind of like that's like a picture, a still version.
That's a still version.
This is kind of like building on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll be able to execute videos using that. No. So my prediction is that a lot of tech companies are going to start using that crap for social media content.
Exactly.
Like you're going to start seeing so much of it because it's so cheap and it's quick.
Readily available.
I mean,
all the content, like anything that you write right now is.
Yeah. I can make Superman ride a motorcycle or, make Superman ride a motorcycle on Mars or just do random stupid stuff like that. In a blink of an eye. It's crazy, dude.
It's interesting to me because we did some, image generation. Mm-hmm. And you ask for construction imagery with safety or whatever. Yeah. And it was interesting how I'm surfing LinkedIn the other day and there was an image and I'm going, wait, I've seen that already because there is, the machine has learned a certain thing and returns a certain thing. I don't know. It was very interesting in that you asked two people to draw safety related, content for a construction site. And they would draw it up and there'd be two totally different images. Yeah. You ask that to draw it and it's going to return about the same data, really. Mm-hmm. There's a philosophy that's beyond that. That's kind of like, are we going to lose our imagination? Are we going to sit in more of an echo chamber than ever? Because it's just going to return the same values.
You'd be surprised. So it is being, fed all these tons and tons of imagery and content. So yes, it can be like just limited within that, but you would be absolutely surprised of what it can do outside of that.
Yeah.
Because that's like, I read the book, The Coming Wave by the guy who founded DeepMind.
Yeah.
And that was acquired by Google. So he was talking about how when they first created this model and they taught it how to play Go, which is the Japanese game that has infinite number of possibilities, like more than the number of stars in the universe.
Yeah.
They taught it everything that they know from the human world, right? This is how we play it. These are all the different previous games, so you can learn some strategies from them. Put it against world champions, and it beat them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Using like different techniques in different ways. But what was mind-boggling is they started that with said, all right, so let's do Alpha 0. It's called it 0 because they didn't feed it anything. They just taught it the rules of the game. And what it did is, of course, like it's deep learning, so it replicated itself and it just played against itself millions and millions of times in a span of months or even weeks. And it destroyed AlphaGo.
Jeez.
And it didn't even have any knowledge of all this strategy. So just because it's taught something, it doesn't mean it can't think outside of it. It can infer, it can find context. It's insane. So The Upcoming Wave is a highly recommended book. And he's talking about that in a very interesting way, saying that we need to regulate this. Because it's going to get out of hand. We're seeing a lot of different applications that utilize that on top of current solutions. So that's why I keep saying, like, of course, we heard it, AI is not going to replace you. Somebody using AI will replace you. AI, it's not its own thing. Don't think about it like, I need to figure out how to use AI. No, it's like, what are the tools that you have today? So like Revit or Tekla or whatever it is. How can we ingest that AI aspect to? And we're seeing a lot of third party that coming up with different tools and plugins and things that can help you accomplish the mundane tasks. That with a click of a button, right? So you don't have to sit down and dimension all your drawings. Click a button and you say, dimension all my drawings. And we saw that from Evolve Lab just released their.
I would have, oh my gosh. The amount, well, I mean, and you know this now, it's dimensions, clicking that junk in. Oh my gosh, dude. That's tedious. And also, it's still manual and you'll misclick something. In some ways, if you're not careful, you can misclick. You can not dimension to a certain thing. I'm excited to see how that helps enhance drawings in a way.
I have a question. About that. Why can't the dang software do that on its own without a third-party software coming in to rescue, save the day, and do it? Why do we need an extra to dimension the drawings?
Why does it take so long? I just need it to.
Because big companies are slow.
Big companies are slow. Code bases are old. It's very difficult to hot swap behaviors without having a domino effect somewhere that was unintended. So the larger and older a software becomes, the more difficult it becomes to make it agile.
And that's why you have these startup ecosystem that taps into that, and they're agile, they're quick, they can develop things fast and just plug it in.
You got to wonder when they're going to say, why am I building on that platform? Why don't we come back, scorch the earth, and build on, a new fresh platform? No massive code base, nothing to upset. Like we're just coming from the grassroots.
He's disrupting the industry already. Look at him.
Look.
Hey, and I see the glint in your eye when you're saying that. I feel like you know things that I don't. So.
Freaking NDAs. Anyway.
Darn it.
Darn.
There are tons of tools out there. So like Hypar is another one that you can use generative design to create different space planning for like, they're focusing on healthcare right now, but you can spit that out to Revit because they know the market is on Revit. So they're not going to want to replace it. But that doesn't mean somebody else can. But there's like the GPT aspect of things too is, or Copilot, Microsoft. Procore is doing that too. You have all the information in there. Just ask me questions. You don't have to dig in and find. We're big on document crunch. We're also investors as well. We just adopted an enterprise-wise, which is like you upload the contract. It reviews the contract, of course, using the natural language processing and understanding of the AI of what phrases or what clauses should be there and shouldn't be. But then the other side of it, which is to us more exciting, which is the execution of that contract. So now the project manager doesn't have to, he's like, wait a minute, when should I submit this waiver or request for weather delay or whatever it is? It's like, let me just ask the contract.
It's way easier to just go to a chat interface and ask the question. And you probably would get a better answer out of it too, because it might be able to provide context. If it's not able to yet, it will eventually. So, oh my gosh, AI is exciting to me. What else? So, all right, so document crunch, Hypar, any others out there that we should kind of be looking at from the AI perspective?
We worked with Toggle.ai a little bit, which is kind of just like 2D takeoff. So you don't want to draw all those polygons. We usually do our takeoff in 3D when we have the model, but sometimes we get the design is just documents, just PDFs. Figure it out.
So it'll do a takeoff straight off of like a PDF or something.
Right. It'll do all the automatic polygons and stuff and just helps us kind of collect that quantities.
Yeah.
Execute. I mean, it's all about really execution in the field. We have safety aspects. So we use new metrics, which was acquired by Oracle. I just talked to Josh yesterday. He's an awesome dude. That, you feed it all the images, progress images, and it would identify how many forklifts you have, how many boom lifts, how many ladders, how many potholes and all that stuff, and kind of give you some predictive analytics saying that, this project might incur an incident in the future. It's not, up to like to the nitty gritty science detail saying like this many probability, but it's just kind of trying to focus our efforts from a safety perspective and looking at that.
I'm glad you brought that up because I've seen a solution or two around that. That's exciting, is being able to use job site cameras and see kind of broadly, hey, this hole is over here and they keep driving real close to it, or, whatever. That knowing some of that information up front and being able to prevent those incidents from happening based off of basically AI coming in, looking at a photo and saying like, hey, that's not good. I think I saw something on that about last year-ish, but dude, that makes me really excited. Like we might reduce some incidents.
Yes, absolutely. Have you guys looked at QNect?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's steel, right?
Yeah, it's a steel detailing.
Yeah.
Rod's Tekla, kind of I won't get into that. But yes.
It's not taking my job.
It's not a thing I want to do. Putting every connection into a model is not something that I want to do. And if I could automate it, I absolutely would. And where we have been able to automate it through auto connection, we do.
Yeah.
Having it put out, it's an interesting thing with all of these different softwares. You almost have like a big data problem. Mm-hmm. Steel connection design engineering is something that's like a very small facet that has that big data problem. If I've got 550 shear connections that are essentially the same, am I going to return 550 different calcs for that? If the design model kicks out down to the, 10th of a kip, what the design value is, and then the automated software takes it and is like very like literal with it. A lot of the things that we have done and previously that are just taken care of by a schedule that says, that connection works up to 30 kips, use it.
Right. Yeah.
One calc, that's the proof. Everybody accepts it, move on.
Right. So there's still some human component to it.
And I mean, like at what point do we just start to trust the calculator? And just say, it's been done in that software.
Yeah,
if it was done there, I'm fine with that. I don't need to check that.
Yeah, we're still in the check the calculator phase of AI. I feel like,
absolutely,
we're still like,
make
sure this is right. I mean, lawyers found that out pretty early on.
Yeah. Always verify. I don't say trust but verify because to me that means don't trust. I just say verify.
Just verify.
Just verify.
Yeah.
Trust but verify.
That's it reminds me of the Hidden Figures story, like where they used the calculators, the actual people that were calculators. They were like, check the numbers. Like the computer did the thing, but we're going to get the people to check the numbers before I go and climb into that thing and go to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
So
here's another application to us that's an idea that came internally, which is not like, it's not even existing yet.
Yeah.
Which we, as Haskell, we build a lot of manufacturing facilities for food and beverage. So there's tons of stainless steel tubes. That's kind of the bread and butter of food and beverage, stainless steel tubes, because that's what's going to carry the end product while it's getting processed. And those are very specific on how you want the welds to be.
Yeah.
And we have like 3, maybe 4 certified weld inspectors in the company. We do a lot of these projects across. So there's a lot of spot check-in and just kind of trust system with the subcontracts with trade partners. So this old gentleman that worked with us for years, he's getting ready to retire, and he's like, there has to be a better way, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, yes. He's like, I don't know how, but I take a picture of my phone, and then if I look up pool, it finds all the pictures that has a pool in it. I don't know how, but can it find welds? Can it find, is it a good weld or is it a bad weld? And we're like, that's actually a good idea. Let's sit down and talk about it. And we sat down and we actually created an AI model that you take a picture of a weld and it would flag it. I mean, again, it wouldn't just say, this is great, this is bad. It would just say, this is suspect. Or this looks good, right? So we taught it. It's funny because AI is all about how much data you give it, right? How you teach it.
Yeah.
So we didn't have any structured data of weld pictures because they're all either blurry or dark or somewhere, and each one is in a different angle.
Yeah.
AI is not going to understand any of that. So we actually went to a shop and we asked for 3 samples of the worst weld you can possibly make. They looked at us like we were crazy. They were like, and you're paying for that? I'm like, yes, please. Here you go. Give me 3 terrible welds. And they did. And it's terrible, horrible. And we figured out what the defects are in that weld, gave it to the AI, and you have to label the data, right? You have to tell it which part is bad.
Yeah.
Several times in different angles. We worked with a company called Prenav in the West Coast. They actually did a cool thing as well, which is take scans of that weld and then recreate some of the imagery in different environments.
Yeah.
So now you don't have to actually take pictures to teach it. You can create that digitally. And it was great. So you take a picture of it now and it says, yeah, this looks like it has an issue. And that's all we're asking it to do, right?
Yeah.
So that we can focus our efforts for the certified weld inspectors to go to specific job sites to check specific welds.
Here's where you need to focus.
Right.
These have been signed off. Check these.
So it's still in development. So we AI is not easy.
Yeah.
So that's when we talk open AI and what they did with that large language model and how much they taught us. That's not a small feat to accomplish.
No, not at all.
All of that effort that we did over 6 months. And now if you take a picture of any other type of pipe or different size, that AI would be like, I don't know what this is. Because it hasn't seen that before, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a lot that goes into training the models.
Yeah. We had, it's called a Wiki. I think it's a Wiki Weld Gun. Have you seen this?
No.
It's like a miniature weld scanner. And so that one's just meant for dimensional scanning of welds, where you can basically put this scanner down and it's based on the, say a fillet weld, you give it a weld type and then it gives you an on-the-fly measurement. It tells you if there's, undercut, it tells you if the legs are long enough, whether you've met the criteria.
Right.
And then returns a report. So it's kind of a no debate thing, right? There's a level of objectivity.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there are different tools that can give you way more accurate measure, like X-raying and all that stuff. But just our approach for this is over a large number of projects that have each project has a large number of wells. So we're not going to do that for each one. The idea is if we get the trade partners to every time you finish a weld, you take a couple of pictures and you move on to the next one. And all our system is going to do is say, hey, certified weld inspector, this one is questionable, go check it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this gets me on the hardware side of things.
Yeah.
All right. So we've been talking about software for a minute. Hardware. What cool toys, I'll say, are you seeing out there in the world that we should be aware of?
Oh, I'm big on Skydio. I'm sure you've seen those drones.
Yes. Yeah. You sent me a link on those. Yes. Yeah.
We're getting our X10 soon. It's super exciting.
Okay.
But we have the S2, which is their older model, that can autonomously fly itself in a sense that you can tell it, here's a table.
Yeah.
Scan it. And that's it. You just click the button and you just give it the parameter, right? You give it X, Y, Z. This is the ceiling level, floor level, scan it. And it would automatically find where it needs to take pictures, thinking that it's going to be processed in a 3D software that take photos using photogrammetry, turns into a 3D model. And it just takes all those pictures by itself. It's amazing to watch it do that.
Yeah.
We took it to a church in St. Augustine. I posted on LinkedIn. If you see the results of that, it's immaculate. The level of details that you can see in the 3D model is insane. But it was like, I know this is all just me like clicking a button and watching the drone do that. And the funny thing is St. Augustine is a big tourism, attraction.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like these trolleys that come in with a lot of tourists. They're like, and this church, they're like, but look at the drone.
So that's not integrating any sort of LiDAR or anything, is it?
It's photos.
Straight up just photogrammetry.
Yeah. But it's so smart that it knows where to take those pictures and how it's going to be stitched together to create a 3D model.
So does it do the stitch for you, or you're going to have to do that in post, register it all, and pull it together? Interesting.
Yeah.
You have to find the photo and put it on the YouTube version.
Name of that one more time?
Skydio.
Skydio. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember you sending me the link to it and watching it track with somebody who's on a mountain bike.
Yeah.
And whoa, holy cow, dude, it's accurate. It was on.
It's pretty cool.
It was really, really cool. You can almost use it as like a third person view and for like a video or something like that.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
Yeah. All right, Skydio. Well, let's get into the book though, man.
Yeah, I know you've been trying to lead
let's
into
get into the book. I wanted to hear some of this stuff, but all of this leads to one of the main reasons you're here is you got a book that's coming out here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Tell us about it. What
Absolutely.
you got coming?
So I've been with Haskell for about 8 years now, and tons of experience and working with great people within the company and connecting with a lot of the outer ecosystem from the industry in general, right? So we're talking to DPR, McCarthy, Mortensen, to name a few, right?
Yeah.
So many people. And there's a lot that's happening in the industry. You've seen it, right? Like all these technologies, that the AI is changing things. And what I'm seeing from my perspective as Hamzah, not like even as Haskell, is yes, all these top 400 ENR companies have Hamzah, have Dysruptek, have a unit like that.
Yeah.
That's what you said, like task force. That's what they're looking at. They're trying to identify opportunities to become better. But everybody else, like from what I've seen, or most of the rest, is they don't have that, right? So they're like, man, we'll just wait and see. I don't know. I don't know their approach, but this is my way of trying to contribute back to the industry in the sense that saying like, here's everything that I've learned.
Yeah.
Not, of course, not selfishly. It's still a book. I need you to buy it. But
go buy the book. Go buy the book.
Right. But it's a way to share the knowledge with the rest of the industry, the people that don't have Dysruptek, that don't have an innovation group, that don't have a VDC department, even.
Yeah.
Just very high level, framework of how do you evaluate these companies? How do you? What do you look for, right? And how do you implement some of that? Because to me, it's like we all need to be better, right? So even as Haskell, if Haskell is investing all these times and resources and it's great, and we're using great software, but if my supplier that's going to bring the material isn't using that, he's still going to come in with a paper and say, sign here. It's like that doesn't really help me. Now I have to scan that. Now I have to put it in my...
Yeah.
So yes, in order to bring everybody, or in order for Haskell to become better, we need everybody around us also to become better and more digitally transformed, so to say. So that's the main aspect of the book. It's called Paperless Builders, the Why, What, and How of Construction Technology.
Nice.
And I know a lot of people kind of maybe frown upon me using construction technology and not AECO.
I know. I don't care. It's all the same thing to me.
That's the way I explain it everywhere I talk is like, there's no construction project without architectural engineering.
Yeah.
We're not going to build something out of nothing, right? We're not master builders anymore. But also we're not building something without going to operations. So like, I think construction is kind of like the central that encompasses all of that.
Yeah. I'm excited to read this, man. Like I'm excited to see some of your insights that you've picked up along the way. And I love the mission behind it of, trying to raise the tide for the entire industry so that we all get better. Yeah. And I know you're going to include me in one of your things. I'm going to hold you to task by putting it in a podcast. Now it is so. All right. So
no, that's what I say is like, this isn't just so
be in a book.
He asked
I'm going to be in a book.
He's
Eddie.
like, I need to make sure you
suck on that. You got in Forbes. I got in a book. Suck it. Anyway.
Wait, you got in Forbes? That's awesome.
Yeah. I have no idea how that.
No. Don't take away from this. Don't take away from this. All right.
You have no idea. You got a baby idea of what he has written, and you're just carte blanche approving.
Okay. Whatever. Put my name on it. Sweet.
That's the
Here's
point.
what I'm saying. Yeah. You've got a lot of artistic license down there. He doesn't even need to see it. That means if you go back and change it, he'll never know. He'll never know.
Right. But I still have to give him credit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
I would say the zanier and more off tilt you make the whole story, the more I want him to get that credit. Like, I really want him to have all of that credit.
Gee, thanks, brother.
Especially after that rant.
Really appreciate it. So thankful.
But that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the book is you know, I'm working with a great publishing company called Manuscripts. And their slogan is like, never write alone. You know, it's like, yes, I have a lot of insights and experience.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the others have different either perspectives of different things that I haven't seen or experienced, right? So that's the holistic approach is this whole community approach, right? And that's what the pre-sale campaign is about. Is to me, like, this is creating an author's community, and I send you like the outline, I send you like a survey, help me out, and then we schedule a one-on-one, and give me stories, give me something that, you know, perspective that I didn't have that I can put in the book, and of course, you're going to get the credit for that.
Yeah. Well, do you have a link that you can share? Then we can put it in our show notes.
Yes.
So if people want to pre-order it and also support you in this too, because you're self-publishing and like doing all this. So
hybrid.
Hybrid, but still like support needed and all that stuff, because I think it's going to be valuable. And I'm excited to hear some of the different insights that we get from people after it's read.
Yeah.
You know, some of the feedback that you get.
Well, the first thing that I say like in the book, like literally, there's two different things that I address in the introduction of the book. One is the irony that it's called Paperless Builders, and you're probably reading a paper version of it. So I address that immediately in the introduction. But then the other part of it is like, I hope, and I literally hope that this book will be obsolete by like 2028, maybe 2030 as a stretch.
Yeah.
Because like you would go back like in 2030, if you're picking up this book and you're like, they were doing what back then? That's what I hope.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. Yeah. Well, we'll put that down in the show notes. All right. Well, I think it's time. I think you know what's coming. Is our megaphone question. Yeah.
It's the megaphone.
I've been practicing the entire drive up here.
Oh my gosh.
Like megaphone. Yeah. What is
just
Are you going to hit 60 seconds?
Is it going to happen?
Are you going to get it?
Are you going to time me?
Heck yeah, I'm going to time you.
I mean, we can.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. What's your megaphone? No, I'm just kidding. All right. If we gave you a megaphone for the whole industry to hear in around 60 seconds, what would you want to say? Go.
Think outside the box. Do some research. Find different solutions. There are tons of different solutions that will help you become more efficient, safer, higher quality, more accurate. That's the message that you're trying to spread out, right? It's like the next generation is like, this isn't your old hammer and wrench, right? This is different.
Yeah. I saw a thing earlier. Sorry, piggybacking on that. I saw somebody talking about their 21-year-old robot operator.
Nice.
Out in their shop this morning on LinkedIn. I'm like, holy crap.
Love
like,
it.
It's a title now, man. Like it's a thing and it's happening. And like,
called it.
Yes. Look at you, man. It's like you know something. Well, Hamzah, thanks so much for joining us this week, man.
Thank you so much for having me.